Good morning. Welcome back to my garden. My name's Adrienne. It is officially fall. Today is October 2nd and it's a beautiful morning here. Let's take a look around this fall garden. I live on 2 acres in southern Michigan. We are zone 6A. My last frost date is mid-May, and my first frost date is mid-October, which is quickly approaching. This side is full of some lettuce, and I did sow some winter spinach in the bottom. This top tier over on this side is all tatsoi spinach, which is my favorite spinach. It is so good. And the bottom 2 tiers are full of lettuce that we've already been harvesting and enjoying. I've got 3 peppers still hanging on in this green stalk. This is a habanada, which is a habanero without the heat. And I've got quite a few peppers that still need to turn. And these cold nights are really giving it a run for its money. It was 41 last night, but they're still doing okay. This is cayenne pepper. I've got 2 cayenne pepper plants in here. And they are starting to turn red, which is great. A couple of garden tours ago, I had mentioned that I wasn't sure if I would have enough time to produce any loofah because it was so late in the season. So I thought, I've got 9 very good size loofah. We might make it. They're starting to be a little bit squishy. And I know that they need to dry out completely to skin them and use the loofah sponges. So if anybody has experience growing these in my zone, let me know if I'm too late. Let me know if I'm getting excited and my hopes up for nothing. I've got about 2 weeks left before the frost comes. This has been really fun to grow. And I love how full this second trellis is, especially now that the beans are gone. It still is giving that stately entrance that I enjoy so much. These are some Swiss chard plants, a couple of kale, my wild thyme doing fantastic. This side has some winter lettuce, more of that tatsoi that I love so much, and I've got some cilantro coming up in that little corner. It's been an interesting progression from summer to fall this year because now that I'm focusing on trying to grow some fall crops, I'm realizing how much shade my garden is getting this time of year. The sun shifts and a lot of the afternoon it tucks behind these huge cottonwood trees, and really the only corner of my garden that gets full sun now is this front corner up here. I have some dwarf teddy bear sunflowers coming to flower, and I am so excited. I really thought I had sown these too late, but they are flowering and we're going to enjoy those blooms. My all-star strawberries in here are running around just as I'd hoped. And by next summer, a fair amount of this bed should be covered in all-star strawberries, which are my favorite. They're a June-bearing strawberry, and I'm just so excited I found starts this year. Echinacea is beautiful. This will also come back next year. I had sown some summer squash. This is one of the summer squash varieties I started. I'm not sure which one, but the nights have just been way too cold for them to thrive. Ground cherries are still producing, but they're on their way out with the change of the season. Sweet bonnet peppers, they will turn red when they're ripe. Well, I mean, they're not loving this. Let's be honest. They are not loving these 40-degree nights. Peppers really don't like it when it drops into the 50s even. My giant marigolds are in full bloom, and these are approaching 5 foot tall. They are pretty spectacular. I recently pulled out the last of the tomato plants that were in this bed, and now that I've done that, this kale in the back will get a lot more sun and will probably bush out pretty quickly. Some of this stuff is pretty small. With the frost coming in a couple of weeks, I don't know if we'll get a fall harvest off of some of these smaller plants. This row in particular is cauliflower. These Brussels sprouts get a lot of shade from this loofah trellis. You can see the difference in the Brussels sprouts I have right here that get more sun. I've got some leaf bugs in here, and I know that they're doing some munching, but I also have some caterpillars on these plants. I did spray with BT last night. And here's one little guy having some breakfast. These are a couple of zinnias and a row of radish with some kale that's coming back. Some cayenne peppers. These two poblano peppers are coming inside this winter. Something very interesting about peppers is in areas that don't freeze, they actually grow all year long. They become pepper trees. If I dig these out and pot them up, trim them back, and take them inside, they'll survive all winter kind of dormant, and in early spring I can bring them out in their buckets and they'll take right off, and we'll have early poblano peppers. Tabascos are finally starting to turn red. I've picked quite a few of these already. We'll make some hot sauce once I get a pot full. The row we just walked down is going to be my garlic bed this year. My fall bed of root crops and leafy greens is doing really great. I've got carrots in here, and this might be the first year I actually get to harvest some carrots. We're really excited about that. I do have some Agribon fabric, which is a frost fabric, and I have some greenhouse plastic as well with wire hoops that I will put over this bed if I need to and prolong my season. Strawberries are finishing up for the year. I've got a volunteer carrot down in there. This is some volunteer lemon basil. I've still got a few berries coming on, but I'm not sure if they'll make it. This is some bok choy. We love bok choy, and it is an underappreciated vegetable. It's very fast growing and really does well in my garden. Here are some bush peas, and I've got some Kalima beans in here. The beetles really love my green beans, especially when I plant them on the ground. I had really good success with bush beans in containers in the spring. However, the bush beans in the containers this fall are not doing as great. They are getting some pest pressure. Sugar magnolia tendril peas are these are the purple variety, and they get their name from these crazy little tendrils. Now that fall is here and the leaves are falling from the trees, I'm excited to finally get this cardboard covered. We ran out of leaf mulch, believe it or not. So pretty soon all of this will look really nice, covered with mulch. Mini zinnias are still looking fabulous. Some rutabaga here. Quite a few of my leeks look like they're ready to harvest. This is broccoli rapini, which, as I understand, is small side shoots of broccoli. So it doesn't create a large broccoli head, just a lot of side shoots. And this one went to flower. It was stressed out with the temperature changes, but you can see down here where it was sending out side shoots of broccoli blossoms. Here are some carrots, and they're considerably smaller than the other carrots I have that we just walked through, because this corner stays very shaded for most of the day. I'm actually surprised that anything is flourishing back here. This is a new sage plot that I planted early spring. There are 3 plants here, and they are just doing fantastic. I'll be harvesting a lot of this soon to dry for the winter. Over here are some cabbage and more carrots, and these beautiful zinnias. These snapdragons, we've talked about these snapdragons before. I planted 250 snapdragon seeds. I started them indoors very early last winter to come out here for spring, and only 7 plants made it to flower. This beautiful Yeti nasturtium is doing really good, and it's starting to go to seed. So there's the little seed pod for nasturtiums. At this point, I'm not pruning back any of the flowers. I'm letting them just do their thing. This is a patch of pak choi, and we have been eating off of this. It's a really great plant. It's delicious in stir fry. It's a little bitter. It's brassicas, like broccoli, cauliflower, that kind of flavor, with the crunch of celery, and then the green tops add some nutritious greens to whatever you're cooking. I took down the Chinese red noodle beans this week, and I'm just waiting for the frost to be in the forecast, and just before that happens, I will pull all of these little honey nut squash off of here. But there's still quite a few coming on, and I didn't want to pull them too early, because you never know, we may have a late frost this year, and I could have several weeks left. This is the old Ruth Stout potato bed. I ran curly kale down the center of it and flanked the kale with 2 rows of bush peas. The kale's doing great. The peas are doing okay. Like I said, they're not getting enough sun back here, I'm afraid. But I know that this kale's gonna do fantastic. And much like most greens, you can harvest these now. I mean, I can come out here and clip all of this and put it in a stir fry, put it in a salad. It's the great thing about growing greens. You don't have to wait until they're mature to enjoy that harvest. This is some winter lettuce and more of my favorite spinach, that tatsoi. Here's some bok choy. And a handful of cabbages that may or may not give us anything this season, but they'll overwinter nicely. And I have some carrots in here, some red Russian kale down the center, and some golden beets. The garden's still beautiful, but just such a different feel from summer to fall. This winter squash is doing good. I harvested all of the orange pumpkins and the ripe butternut. I have one Seminole pumpkin which is bittersweet for me because I've tried to grow this pumpkin for 2 seasons, never got any pumpkins to form, and this year I got one, but way too late. This is a great pumpkin because it stores so well through the winter, but it takes 120 days to come to full maturity. This sugar pie pumpkin is starting to turn, and that'll be ready soon. And there's a little baby butternut over there that I can probably take in. This metal tub is full of parsley and bunching onions. I had a few bunching onions in here that were growing over the summer, and now I've sown a bunch more in there. I'm letting this pot of dill go to seed. Dill is one of my favorite herbs. I use it in so many things, most notably in my eggs in the morning. I love dill in my eggs. This is an eggplant that is living for no other reason but because it's cute and looks like a little tree, and I didn't have any plans for that pot, so I just let it go. Chamomile is wild and lanky but still producing, and chamomile is frost hardy, so I'm just going to let that groove. Lemon balm, chocolate mint, Swiss chard. I've got a little pea plant here. Aw, he's got a little pea pod. How cute. I've got a variety of mints over here. This metal tub is orange mint. I've got spearmint and peppermint together, and some volunteer, looks like a carrot in there. This is strawberry mint, and the strawberry mint has gone to flower. Some rosemary that I'm planning on taking into overwinter in this pot. Some bok choy over here, but this gets a lot of shade. It's got sun right now, but as soon as the sun hits those cottonwoods, this whole section will be shaded. The pineapple sage doesn't mind, obviously looking fantastic. And this bucket of lettuce, this little grow bag of lettuce, is doing great too. It's got some purple opal basil back there. And this bed I sprinkled with mustard seed just as a possible ground cover. I'm not sure how fast it will come in. It is sprouting all over the place though. I know that will overwinter and come back in the spring. My oregano and thyme are looking great as always. I've got another pot of bush peas here next to the sage. And just a hodgepodge variety of things in this bed. Some peas climbing up those stakes. And a couple of summer squash that probably won't give us anything, but I'm gonna let them go just to see what happens. No reason to tear them out. This is some yarrow that volunteered in one of the walkways in the garden, and I put it up in this bed because I'm so excited to have that up here. This little pot of lettuce behind my green stalk's doing good. Here's the back side of the green stalk with the cayenne peppers. And those loofah, my gosh, look at those loofah. These cucamelons are doing so good on this gate. And I've been pickling these, refrigerator pickling these. And they're even crawling over here onto the bike. They're just going wild. I find a lot of inspiration in watching garden tours to see how plants grow together and how people design their garden spaces. It gives me a lot of fun ideas, and it exposes me to plants that I've maybe never heard of or never thought of trying to grow myself. It's why I film these garden tours. I hope that I'm providing a little bit of that for someone else. I know I'm going to enjoy looking through these videos through the winter, and they're going to be really helpful in planning next year's garden, which I'm already thinking about. As much as I look forward to the quiet season of fall and the resting season of winter, I'm really going to miss spending time out here in my garden. Thank you so much for stopping by and walking through my garden with me this morning. I really love sharing this with you.